Hello everybody. So in previous video we did the vectorization, or rather you can say that we did the feature extraction, or we created the bag of words, or we created vocabulary. Right now we also discussed in the previous video that we will be performing some sort of cleaning on the data before vectorizing them, so that it will reduce the number of words, right, and it will make it more specific. So the problem over here is, if you see here, it's debut, right? So like it's written with capital D, and if you find debut with small d, both of them will be treated as two different words while both of them are same words, right? So that those kind of things which we are going to fix over here. So while we are doing the cleaning, we will be using the main data itself. The main data which we created was filtered, in which we had just removed the unsupported reviews, or maybe we can say the labels, unsupported labels having the value as unsupported, and we had just converted the negative and positive to 0 and 1. Okay, so now the next thing which we're going to do over here is we will be performing three types of cleaning. Okay, number one is we will change the cases to lower, then we will do the stop words removal, and then we will do the lemmatization. I just hope that you have watched the previous video. If not, please go through the playlist and check them out. Link is given in the description section. All right, so let's just start with converting the review in small case. Okay, so let me create another variable, and let's call it filtered. In the filter data frame, I'm creating a new column called review lower, and then over here I'll say filtered, and inside that I'm going to use label or review. I have to use the review dot str dot lower. I just did this, and let's just see if that's converted. Dot head, and I will take only two records to check it out. Okay, now here is what we have. If you observe over here, once was written with capital O, while that has been converted to small o. Mr. was written with capital M, now it has been converted to small m. All right, well, now next thing which we're gonna do is we will be performing stop words removal, right? So to do the stop words removal, first we need to import that particular module. So how are we going to import that? So let's say import nltk dot corpus. You have one module called corpus. Import stop words. Let's just see. Stop. All right, looks like it says stop words. Alright, so here is a small problem, or rather I should say from nltk dot corpus import. Now it should show me the list of the modules out of which we will be picking the stop words. Stop, is it giving me? Yeah, we got it, stop words. Alright, so this, alright, so here is some spelling problem. Okay, now this is correct. Next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna import the English list of stop words. In the previous videos I have explained about it. English stop words. All right, and here I'm going to say stop words dot words, and over here I will say English, and let me show you what all that we have over here. Bravo, we got it. So if you are a person from different language, you can put your language subject to availability. For example, Spanish and all those things are available over here, so you can use them. Now stop words are done, created. Okay, now next column which we are going to create over here is in the filter data frame. We are going to create another variable or another column which we would say that stop words are removed. So let's just say filtered, and here I'm just going to say review no stop words, stop words. All right, and here I would say filtered, and here I would use this particular variable where I have converted it already in the small letters. All right, now the next thing which we need to do is I would say apply, and inside that lambda x, and here we're gonna say word for words in I would say x dot split if x not in, if word not in, not in, we can say that word for words. All right, so I guess I made some small word for word in, sorry, let me just come back over here in x dot split, sorry, if word not in English stop word. All right, so what I'm trying to say over here is I'm just running a for loop. First I'm splitting each of the row of this particular column, right? I'm doing a word split, and then through each of the word I'm trying to check whether that's part of stop word or not. If not, then I'm keeping that, otherwise I'll be just removing that. But again, I'll have to do the joining as well. Okay, so what that joining means is, if you observe over here I'm splitting the data, right? So I need to bring that in again the actual form, right? So that's why I will be doing this. So what I'm saying is, first run this, and whatever comes out just join them and then put them into this, right? Let's just try to run and see if it gives us any error. All right, so it is taking some time, so till then I'll just pause the video. Looks like it is completed. Now let's just check how does it looks like. Filtered dot it is going to see 2 out of it, right? So there seem to be some bit of unexpectation. Yeah, I can see it. All right, so you see there is no space at all. So what I need to do actually is just right over here I need to supply one space and then again run it. I'm sorry for this, it's again gonna take few minutes, so I'll pause the video. All right, now this looks good enough. If you see over here, what is it that we have achieved, or what is it that we have removed, right? So for example, into this, if you observe of which, right? So here we say of which, and let's just see what is it that we have after consequences. You see over here, this is the consequence word, and after that we have comma, and then it says of which, and here after consequences it is directly coming to care. Means all of these words are removed, which means it is just reducing the amount of words. Now again, this is completely subjective, not necessarily every time you have to remove the stop words, right? But most of the time we follow this practice. Okay, so in our context I'm going to follow this in this sentiment analysis of exercise. Next thing which we're going to do is we will be limitizing the words, whatever things that we just created over here, this stop words removal we just did. On top of that, we are going to do the lemmatization. If you want to understand what lemmatization is, check out the playlist that has lemmatization, where we have explained the lemmatization. Now for lemmatization, we need to first import that module from NLTK dot. There is one module which is called stem import word net limitizer. All right, and then the next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna create a object for this. Okay, let's call it lem and equals to word net lematizer. This is created. Now the next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna apply this thing on this particular column. All right, so let's create another column in our data frame, which we're gonna say lemmatized. Let's call it review, lemmatized review, and for that we're gonna use this apply lambda x, and over here we would say dot join, and inside that we're gonna say lem dot lemmatize, and inside that what we're gonna do is we're gonna supply the value to which we want to lemmatize it. But again we need to perform the first we would require to split that, then only it will go word by word. So here we're gonna say word for word in x dot split. So if you are if you try to understand this how it's working, so simple, this x is nothing but it is representing to this particular column. Okay, so first we are splitting this, and then from each of the word we are looping through each of the word, we are taking that, we are taking words one by one from this splitted list, and we are applying the lemmatization. All right, so hope this is clear. Just in case of doubt, feel free to ask me into the comment section. Let's run this. Oops, it just gives some error. Let's see what is the error. That str object has no John only. I just wrote John. There is nothing called John. This is join. All right, so again it's gonna take few seconds, right, till the time I will be pausing it. All right, so looks like it is completed. Let's just try to have a look on this, and then over here I'm just going to say head to, and what is it that we have over here? All right, so lemmatization is done on top of this. Now possibly as of now you may not be able to see the differences actually. For example, if you notice over here it says us ghosts, right? Here it says you ghost, right? So as per the sentence what is making sense, accordingly it has done the lemmatization. All right, so in the similar fashion it would have done the multiple lemmatization, but the data is quite used. If you want to go through them from here, you can just export it into Excel and check out the length difference between both of these two, and that will give you a clear picture. Next thing which I'm going to do is we are done with making all the three changes. All right, now the next thing which we would require to perform over here is we are just going to rename it back, right? We will just rename it back. Okay, so let's just do this particular fact. Here we have the last thing which we created, that was this lemmatized review. Okay, now we are just going to rename it to only review, but before that we would require to delete everything except this particular word. All right, let's just drop it. Okay, filtered dot drop, and in the list let me just see what all are the columns that we got into it. Okay, let me just make it one. Still it's bigger but what we can do is let me just take all of them, and over here what I'll do is I'll just supply list of variables. So this is going to be the one. You can skip this or you can fast forward this. This is almost done. All right, now here we are just going to remove all these columns out of it. Then we will be left with this lemmatized review, and we will rename that also, and we will then we will just rename this. Okay, so first of all let's just drop them all. Here I'm just going to say axis equals to 1, and let's call it filtered Let me just try this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so over here, this is what, oops, we made a mistake. We should not have to remove the label. Label was not something which we were supposed to remove. Let me just run this again. Okay, all right, let me just go back. Over here, I'll just take out the labels. Now we have the label into it. Okay, we have labels stored into it. Next thing we would require to do is, let me just put it inside the filtered itself, and let's just see how does this looks like over here. Yeah, this is good. Now let's just rename this. Here I'm just going to say lemmatized word dot rename. All right, let me just remove this over here, and then here you can create the dictionary for this, and let's just say review only. Review x is equals to 1. What do you think? Is this going to work? I'm really not sure. Okay, so let's just run this. All right, now let's just see how does this looks like. All right, this is looking pretty well. So what we can do is we can just remove this, do this. All right, we are done with this. Okay, now after this, what we can do is we will just run them all again, so that we would have our things created well. Let's just try to run this. Okay, before I do this, let me do a small check. Here we have this. Let me take a note of it. I'm just going to take a note of it, so that we will just try to see if it reduces number of words or not. If this reduce, then that means the efforts which we just gave into it, that has created some difference. Otherwise it's gonna be same. Let's just try. I believe till this point we had executed it. Now again we are just going to train the vector. It is taking time. I'm going to pause the video. Oh no, it is done. All right, let's just see. Ooh, we got this 73378. I guess it has done the reduction of the words somewhere, significant amount, rather I can say somewhere 2000 words have been reduced. All right, now let's just try to check them out. Over here I can say 500, and let's just try to find 4. Oh, you see, now we have only 20 video, right? Previously we were getting something more, right? You see, that has been changed, right? So this is how it will just make differences. Okay, so you know, we just reduce the number of words into it. Now the next thing which we will be doing is, in the next video we will start with building our model. Here we are done with training the model. Now the next thing which we will be doing is building the model, and then, you know, checking the accuracy. See you in the next one.